Today I'm going to perform an experiment which we have already discussed. It's filtration. In this we can separate the insoluble solid particles from the liquid with the help of your filtration method. For this I am taking a funnel and I've kept it on a tripod stand and a glass in which the water will be filtered. Okay, and then we have a filter paper. This is a filter paper that I will be using for filtering the solid material. This filter paper will be changed into a cone like structure which I will be placing it in this funnel. On placing this filter paper on this funnel, we will make this filter paper little bit wet so that it can easily stick to the walls of this funnel. So making that little bit wet, so we will make it filtered on this. Now on placing this, we are going to use a muddy water. We are using a muddy water, and that muddy water we are going to filter it out. You can see it out over here. So we've used a muddy water, and now I'm going to filter this muddy water. I will slowly, we can use it with the help of stirrer by taking a stirrer in hand, but now I'm using it directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this muddy water into the filter paper, and finally we are going to see the result, what happens. So ultimately now I'm pouring this muddy water into it. So we can see slowly the water has started dripping down, and we could see the dust particles and we have, along with that, I have added the dust particles also, the solid material of sand particles on this filter paper. So what we find is that the water that we are getting at the bottom is quite clear than the water which we had previous in that beaker. And you can see slowly, drip by drip, the water is pouring down into that beaker. And at the top, if you find, the water is slowly going down, it's seeping down slowly, and we can see all the dust particles or the sand particles, we can say the solid sand particles, we can see coming at the top of the filter paper, showing that the solid, heavy solid particles which cannot be filtered or kept as a residue, remain as a residue, they remain at the top of this filter paper, and we get a pure water. It's not pure, basically it's a clear water. What we can say, a clear water we get in the beaker which is below the funnel. So this is how the filtration process or the separation of solid dust particles from the water material can be done. Or simple examples, you see it at home also when we are talking about sieving of the tea and all. So though it is not done with the filter paper, but still in that also the heavy solid material is left with in the mash, and the rest, the tea liquid material is poured into the cups. So this is how this filtration process is carried out. See, finally we can see at the bottom, at the top we could see. Now we are able to see the solid material. We can easily see the material, that is the solid material, at the top of this filter paper. I'm trying to take it out. I'm going to take it out and I can show you that. See, all the dust material or the solid sand material was left in the filter paper, and rest at the bottom we got only the clear water. So this is how your filtration process takes place. So clean water is filtered, and the residue, this is the left sand material, is the residue left in the filter paper. Now we are going to perform another experiment, that is centrifugation. As you can see, this is a centrifuging machine, and in this what we do is we separate the fine suspended particles in any liquid, in which when they are rotated at a very high speed, the lighter particles, they are seen to be coming up, and the heavier particles settle down. So with this experiment, what I am going to do is, I have taken, again I am using the dirty muddy water. This dirty muddy water I am going to pour into this test tube. So before that, I will show you how this machine works. Like, I have already plugged this machine to electricity. Now I have a switch out over here which I am going to rotate. The moment I switch it on, you can see they start rotating. So you can see with how high speed this thing was rotating, with such speed. So that is why it's called as a centrifugation machine, because it rotates at a very high speed. Now for this, I am going to pour the liquid. I am going to pour into this test tube. I am going to pour the dust particles. Now you can see that I have poured all the muddy water into this test tube. Now if I want to make this liquid clear, or to make the fine particles to be separated from the heavier particles, what I am going to do is, I am going to put this test tube into this container, and now I am going to close it off. Now on closing, when we start rotating it, let's see what happens. Now I am rotating it just for a few minutes, and then we will see what exactly happens. It's rotating at a very high speed. Now let's see the next step, what happens in the test tube. Now let's see the result of it. I'm taking it out, and what you find, it's a complete clear solution. So you can see the lighter particles which were of maybe grass particles or something, it is found to be at the top, and the heavier particles, which were the dust particles, that are at the bottom, showing that your lighter particles are separated from the heavier particles. So this is how your process of centrifugation is carried out. Another object in which we can see the process of centrifugation is our traditional wooden churners, which our elder people or the mothers are using at home for separating the butter from cream. So after collecting the cream in a container, the wooden churners are rotated in this manner, and on rotating it at speed for some time, we are able to separate the butter from the cream material. So what happens is, the lighter butter particles are seen to be coming at the top, and the liquid material, which is the heavier material, is left at the bottom. So somewhere these wooden churners are also showing us the process of centrifugation, which is used for our dairy activities. So in this way, the lighter particles can be separated by the heavier particles by rotating at a very high speed.